Great, greetings everybody. Umber Rays here, recording this on January the 4th, 2025. A little bit preemptive, but if there isn't any major changes, then this video will still be going up on Monday-ish. Well, I guess it will be Sunday for most. Monday for me when this goes up. And the reason I'm here today is to talk about hopefully this is the last video I have to make about this whole conversation, because a lot of people are interested. Exdeath versus new Mont. Which one's best? Which one do you recommend? Blah, 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 blah. I'm getting this question a lot. I'm also getting some weird questions about, are these units good? I'll just flat out straight say right now, yes. Both of these units are top tier. Both of these units are absolutely some of the best in the entire game. Just really quickly, Exdeath versus Mont. Mont is a anti-physical tank. Exdeath is just a mage with a shitload of defensive options. Mont is just generally strong basically across pretty much everything right now, except maybe against mages, since he's an anti-physical tank who does also pretty well against mages, but really, like, he is primarily anti-physical more than anything. Exdeath, on the other hand, is a powerful mage that just happens to be able to equip some of the best armor in the game, making him unbelievably defensive, but he has some clear weaknesses, such as no innate curse resistance, which means that all of his healing could essentially count for nothing if Sephiroth or other curse units are against him. So, to say that, I think that the way to contextualize the stronger of the units is to look at it in a bunch of different ways. Not only like just head-to-head, what their most powerful teams look like facing against each other, but also talking about which unit will probably be better in the long run. Because, for all intents and purposes, looking just at the sheer data and the fact that we don't even have his vision card yet, Mont is probably going to be the overall better long-term unit for a bunch of reasons. Main character, Wotv, he's probably going to get a, like support if he isn't already good enough, although most of the stuff I've seen kind of points to him already being good enough that it's not really worth worrying about. And Exdeath, Exdeath has a great partner right now. If there are any mages in the future who remotely closely synergize to him, then he will also be good. But make no mistake, both of these characters are absolutely great. At the time of this recording, Mont is still generally rated higher by pretty much everyone that matters, or like the website ratings, and Exdeath is considered to be lower. Now, we get into the part that, of course, everybody is waiting for. Which one is actually better? Well, the answer is that Exdeath is the better of the two right now. Initially out of the gate, there was some debate on whether or not he would get there, but he is definitely there. Some people were even commenting about on the previous video, saying, hey, why have this grouping together of characters? There's no synergy, or very, very little synergy between this grouping, so why would you do it? Doesn't matter. So long as most of the vision cards are speeding up everybody, and all of your DPS is focused towards where it needs to be, that's enough. And it absolutely works in this case. The thing is, as I said, Exdeath is unbelievably defensive, way too strongly defensive. You put Summer Resnick in there to get rid of his curse problem, and he's essentially pretty much bullet. If you don't have Summer Resnick, well, it's potentially more difficult to keep him as safe, but he's still overall quite strong, and you can get some curse resistance, but the leeway on certain things, like if a Trust Mastery comes out that makes him curse proof that you can throw onto a healer and lose little performance as opposed to what I have right now, then you're good. You're absolutely good. But the showdown between the two strongest teams, and this is what we are here to kind of look at today. So I'm going to shout out Asaruto, who has done this YouTube video. We'll bring it up right now and show this off. So this is essentially the two teams about as good as they can possibly be. The strongest formations that we have seen thus far, prior anybody else knowing something that I don't know at this point. But like, you look at this, and this is essentially what is landed on as the two best teams, and the results are pretty clear that Exdeath's team is just generally better, and Shrekken and him synergize so incredibly well. They're so good at both dealing damage while at the same time putting up a lot of healing, with a secondary healer in the background to just make sure that you are that resistant to anything that your opponent can do. It's really hard to not see this as just the best team. And again, Mont, looking at it, and yeah, status effects might make some difference, but you see here just with how much it's essentially the other team is throwing at it. The fact that this is a pure mage team or DPS, like, works just too well in the favor of some of the stuff that you would want going on. And I honestly think that this is a good demonstration of how strong both parties are, and that no matter what you're essentially going with, you have a lot of possibility of doing really, really well here. So here you can see, Exdeath comes back, re-raise. You can see how much HP he gets back, and he's already back up, just dealing a lot of damage, buffing himself and Shrekken, getting through Cloud, which normally is just not possible for mages. We've seen that Cloud has been really good against mage teams recently. Summer Resnick with that Resurrect, also just keeping the team safe. And there you go. 3-0. Very definitively. But I also prepared a secondary video. This is from Hagumishi, who is another content creator over here on JP, who has also kind of set up this. This time we can see Winter Preen is being brought around, which, sure, why not? Take a peek and see here. It proceeds very much in a similar way for the first bit, so, you know, skipping over the general buff segment. And yeah, I mean, I think that this is really telling, at least initially. Again, that next VC might be a shootload of AoE resistance as well as just anti-magic damage. Could be totally possible for the next Greatsword card, or maybe it'll be, you know, the attack boost that it needs or something like that. But this combination of characters just works so well together, and here we're seeing the Luciel version instead. And I think that this is another good demonstration, because again, people have been saying, well, why are you running these two together? It doesn't seem like it's a really good thing. Well, you know, we get in here, Exdeath using Limit Burst. Once again, just want to shout it out as being like the coolest Limit Burst in the entire game. Drops down, now it's 2-2. We're getting those extra heals, which just keeps Exdeath in a very safe place. And Exdeath is just capable of withstanding a seriously high amount of damage output from others. Getting his big heals, his counters, taking out Yuna in the background. He does have re-raise. Exdeath buffing himself. Once again, Luciel just staying off in the background, not being majorly targeted. We get an Esper here. Mont is down at this point. That buff again. Again, just providing extra support. So you can see, if anything, that there is a really high amount of evidence that the Shrekken and basically Shrekken and Exdeath is what I am landing on, is the strongest comp with a backup healer. Preferably Summer Resnick, but the better option is Summer Resnick, and Luciel is a perfectly fine and acceptable character. As for which of the healers would end up being the top between the two, well, that I haven't seen evidence of, but I would assume that just overall curse resistance will probably be better in the long run. But without the vision card, that could make some changes. Feature characters could make changes. Right now, it's evident that, you know, Shreka is still very, very strong. Whether she'll keep that up, as she is starting to get a little bit long, just a little bit, but it is starting to get there. She might start falling off as more out. Mont, on the other hand, I think will just be generally good into the future, since he's so good with so many other different types of characters that he will find many parties throughout the year. And Exdeath and Mont might even become a thing if there's enough support for it. But this is the big end point. Both characters are absolutely great. Exdeath seems to be the one who has come out on top early on, and I guess we'll find out later if that changes. But to answer the question, Exdeath tops, Mont still fantastic, and I think that Mont will shine in the longer run. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. See you later.